I can hear the wind from here. It's windy. Oh, morning, Shirley. Good morning, welcome to Totter with iCare, iMove. It's your strength and balance session, and we're going to change it up a little bit today, but you can watch out for that later. Some work through pelvic floor, which is one of our favourite subjects. But first of all, let's get you moving and ready for this cold winter. So let's warm up your bodies, cold weekend, sorry, not winter. Let's warm up your bodies. So we're going to sit upright, think about your lovely posture, sit forwards in your chair. And let's come into that self-supporting spine, so you're away from the back of the chair. Lift through the chest and the belly, shoulders are back and down, and just pull your chin back a little bit, so you've got lovely long neck and spine. And we're going to come straight into the circulation boost with the heel lift. So one heel lifts and then the other. And keep your breath regular, so try not to hold your breath. And you don't need to go very fast, we're just really working through pushing the blood through your calf muscles, up through your thighs to your heart, and then up to your brain. So, and if you are cold this weekend with the horrible weather, then do a little circulation boost. Just sit in the front of your chairs.
Sorry.
And yeah, make yourselves warm. Okay, let's come into a shoulder shrug. So shoulder raise, lift, and lower down slowly, and then go again. Now I want you to really grow through the spine as you push those fingers down towards the floor and lift up again. So just a few shrugs, lifts, raises, whatever you want to call them. It's all the same, but just a smooth, gentle release. Fabulous. And then let's come into that shoulder roll, shoulder circle. So forwards, up, back and down, and squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. Up, back and down, and again, up. All the way back and down. Keep going. Okay, let's do one shoulder and then the other, because I always think you can get a bigger movement when you bring the elbows in, and if you make one arm move and then the other. So lead with your elbow, send that elbow back, and if you're turning in your chair, then that's fine. It comes into a whole body movement.
Shirley, are you right, darling?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
If you need to make it small or don't do it, that's absolutely fine. If it's too much for you, just adapt it for what you need. Keep breathing. Okay. And then let's make it smaller, but over the head. So it's a smaller movement, we're just coming over the head. So you're kind of lifting your arm forwards and over. So less backwards movement. That's it. So around the edge and down, around the edge and down. Lovely. So look, it's like I've got a halo. I'm drawing a little circle around my halo.
That's because you're an angel.
I am. That's it. How does that feel? That's quite nice.
Colette, you okay? She hates it.
Do you
She's
hate
grumpy
it?
with her shoulder.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
okay,
darling.
just take the arm across and open. So one side only. Reach out and open it and then close across your body. That might feel a bit better. Some of us don't like to take arms overhead. And if you've got a shoulder problem, then it can be really uncomfortable. So let's just find something that can help you that isn't so uncomfortable. So just a little sweep and open and sweep. And can you get the arm a little bit further back? You might feel a little pinch. Try to go with it, but don't go to pain. Okay, other side. Let's go over. Trace your halo and go backwards. Can you go backwards over it? And then the other way. Oh, so you're all little angels now.
Well,
Kind
some of them. There's a couple that are
a
questionable.
couple of naughty ones. That's it. How does that feel, that side? Any better? No. Don't worry. I'm the same in Pilates when Helen makes me do things and I'm... Right, arm out, arm across. And we don't like what hurts us or what causes us discomfort. But you know, sometimes that's it. They're exactly the movements that you need to work through to get these joints, muscles working and mobile and warm. And then when they're warm and mobile, then you get much more use out of them. And we get scared to move them. So we just need to think about ensuring that we do move them. Okay, let's come back to a small shoulder roll. Breathe. Lovely. Okay, let's take our hands towards the back. So I'll show you from the side. We're just taking the hands and the arms backwards, squeeze into the shoulder blades, and then round the spine, shoulders, and then open. So take the hands back a little bit, and then around. So really working into the shoulders here. Getting some mobility through the ribs.
Rise up.
Yeah, so squeeze here, drop your chin, and then lift and rise. Lift your chin. That's it. Lovely. So go to the opposite ends of the movement. Use your breath. Round. Oh, and open. Lovely. Good. And then let's march. So, excellent. Da, da, da. Hands come to the sides, feet come wide. Let's just come into that little lean, that lateral lean. So warming up the spine, all the fluid in between those vertebrae before we get you up. And reset at the top there. Reset and then go again. Fabulous. Little reach to the floor and reach down. Good. Great. And then let's hip walk in the chair, forwards and back. What are you up to? Forwards and back. Oh. Somebody's on hands and knees here, trying to go below the camera. Trying to eat a porridge.
Cold
is it
porridge.
too hot, too cold, or is it just right?
I am like Goldilocks.
You are. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's a bit cold now.
You better eat it.
I don't like it.
I bought that for you. She was like, I'll eat it at the end. I'll eat it now. She knows it's too hot. Right, let's come up to standing. Feet behind. We're going to big push up. Do a big push up. March your heels at the top. If you're sitting, then just make sure you're in the front of your chair, the front third of your chair. Take some steps around to the back of your chair or wherever you'd like to be. Have some support and let's get some bigger movements going. Lovely. So come into a march. Think about your posture. So really open up, lift through your chest. Take some breaths. Let's make some big arm movements now. Swing in the shoulder, swing in the elbows. Making big movements so the hand comes to the ear and then to the hip. Rest if you need to at any point. You know you can do that. So we're going to slow it down and we're going to pick the knees up a little bit higher. So slow the arms because the legs will go as fast as the arms go. So lift the knee, hold on if you need to. That's it. Good. Lovely. Good. And then back to lower knees, bigger arms. Good, good.
Are these nice tips for strengthening your core to improve your balance and your stability?
Which ones?
What
These
you're doing?
ones.
Yeah.
Well,
Like single leg balance.
yes. Well, we were going to go into single leg balance because that's one of our focuses, isn't it? One of our focuses is that single leg balance. So let's do that now. So hold it there. We're going to work on your, right, hang on. Let's set you up. So.
No, so.
Posture check. So shoulders back and down, lift through the chest, belly in, pelvis tucked under. We're going to stand on one leg. Standing on one leg is so good for your strength, stability. It's great for core strength. You have to use your core strength to do this. It's great for confidence. But actually, longevity it's proven that if you can stand on one leg for a certain period of time, that you will be safer and live longer. So let's practice. Now I'm going to show you in standing, but you can do it in seated. So you can sit and just lift a leg, or you could pop one foot on top of the other. Same in standing. You could just hover the toes or just pop the toes on the floor. You could pop one foot on top of the other, or we can go into a full lift, and then I want you to count how long you can do it. And don't try to keep up with me, because I've got my own challenge. So we're going to go on both legs, not at the same time. So we're going to lift and just balance. So pop, make sure the weight is through your big toe and second toe. Now I've kept my trainers on today, and I've been practicing in barefoot. And actually, I thought it was harder. I thought it was easier in trainers, but I think it's harder. I have less control because I've got like cushion in my trainers. So focus on a point in front of you, or about 45 degrees. Use your hands if you need to. You can always hover your hand, but the most important thing is if you wobble and you need to come out of that balance, you're going to step out wide. I'm going to step out wide anyway. So step wide. Have a wiggle. It's quite strong into the hips, knees, ankles, and it's tiring because we're using all the core strength. So wiggle jiggle, do what you need to do, make a little circle, and then we're going to go on the other side. So I'm just going to move my chair. Make sure you've got some support by you. It might be you've got a wall or a cupboard. Weight through that standing leg, that supporting leg. Your knee needs to be slightly soft, so not locked. Okay, so same principle. Spread the toes out in the shoes or on the floor. Soften, keep that hip in alignment, belly in, chest lifted, and then let's lift that leg. Soften the foot, relax the ankle, and focus on your point that you decided on. Keep breathing. And don't watch me, because if I wobble, I'll put you off. That's it. Keep breathing. You're doing a good job. And even if you can just do 2 or 3 seconds to start with, practice every day and see if you can make it a longer period. And over time, hopefully, you'll be able to do it a little bit longer. Practice in shoes, practice barefoot, but spread those toes out. Remember what I said? How are we going to come out? Lovely. We're going to step out nice and wide. Done. So you can repeat it if you want to on the other side, and then the other side again, or just once a day. Wiggle jiggle, circle the hips, soften through the knees, just pump the feet, get the circulation back up to your brains, and breathe. Have a rest. That's that one done. Lovely. So next up, we're going to come into wide base sway.
Is this about strengthening your core to improve balance and stability?
Sorry, I didn't know if I stopped.
Do you want me to stop it?
Yeah.
Is that your...
No, I don't think it's... Sorry, excuse me a mo.
Do you want me to...
No, it's gone. Right, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm expecting a call from the doctor.
Was that?
It was no caller, so
right.
If it rings again,
if it rings again,
we'll
switch out.
Yeah.
You're, just in case you've lost your thread.
Yes.
You're doing wide base way to improve balance and stability.
I am. You might need to repeat it though, because isn't it you videoing, not me? I don't know. Anyway, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so another exercise that we always use to improve balance and stability is our favourite exercise, the wide base sway. So take your feet nice and wide, and again, soften through the knees, tuck the belly in, and the pelvis tips under. So it tilts under. So you've got a lovely neutral back. And if you're seated doing the sway, performing the sway, feet are wider than your hips, and take the feet slightly further forwards. And we're just going to take the weight from one foot to the other. Now this is a great exercise for balance, stability, But also what we're doing here is we're pausing for a second on one leg. So pause and just lift the heel, pause and lift the heel. Now you can see that I'm taking my hands from one side to the other.
Off camera,
one side.
I'm sat on the floor watching her and also doing the same movement.
So wide base sway, side to side, lifting the hands. If you need to hold on to make you steady, then that's fine. Otherwise, lift the heel, push the hands up. So balance and stability, using core muscles to enable you to come into this exercise. This exercise is great if you've done some exercises and you need to just settle and rest, bring your heart rates down, or just to stand and sway. We can add on, we can lift a toe. We can sway to the other side and lift a toe. So really strengthening through this leg, using the muscles in the core again. Side to side, side to side, lovely. Keeping that supporting knee nice and soft. And then coming back to the centre, smaller movements. And then that's your wide base sway done. So hold it there. Lovely. Okay, march the heels, just lifting the heels up. Fab, are we okay? Right, we're going to come into some of our favourite movements, the squat. So I'll talk to you about it in seated and standing. So we're going to come into the squat now, which means that we can have something to support us. So I've got a chair. We're going to take our feet slightly wider than hips and our toes turn out a little bit. And it's a knee bend. That's what it's really called. It's a knee bend. So we bend the knees towards the front. As you're doing that, you stick the bottom out, but try and keep the pelvis tucked under again. We're not sticking the bottom out. We are sticking the bottom out, but we're not tilting the pelvis. And even if you just start really small and get that lovely technique, so eye gaze is forwards, we're going down, not forwards. Hold on to the chair if you need to. In seated, you can perform a bunny hop, which is squeeze the bottom, push down through the toes, the feet, and lean forward and just lift the bottom off the chair. So keep going. This is going to keep your legs strong. I'll show you in seated. It's going to keep you strong.
Pat, why is this going to keep you strong?
Because it keeps your thigh muscles, your quads strong. You have to engage your quad muscles. You're using the core muscles to help lift you out of that chair or to help you bend down, help you here. So you're bending down, you're keeping everything tucked in and you're pulling up and lifting. So there we go. And then let's come up to standing, pump the heels to just keep your blood circulating around the head and the heart. And that's your knee bend and squat. Lovely. Are we okay? Give me a thumbs up. Cool. Good. Okay, let's step. We love a step, don't we? So we're going to step together. Step together. Have your support with you if you need to. Just a nice gentle step. If you're sitting, tap to the side. Feet are slightly further forward just to take that pressure out of your hips. Oh, that's it. Then we're going to step over. Lift, over, lift, over. Lift. Remember that when you come together you might be wobbly, so make sure you've got something near to you. Good. Lift and over, lift and over. Da, da, da. How do you feel about doing two? So we're going to lift, over, and then a little march. Lift, over, lift and over, and then a march, or just a heel pump, just a little heel lift, okay? So it might be a bit scary, because you might run out of something to hold on to. But if you need to be by a wall, then that's fine. Or if you do need to be by a chair, then just make sure you start at the side so that you've always got something to just support you. Seated, you can tap out twice on one side, but you might need to lean back because your hip flexors might be shouting at you. Lovely, and then have a rest. Okay, we're going to have a little wander. So in seated, I want you to march and just turn around, turn your head side to side. And actually, if you're seated, you can look up and down, but not if you're standing. So in standing, I'm just going to walk around my chair. And I'm going to, if you want to, or if you're not happy to walk around, just walk on the spot. And then I'm going to come to the back of the chair. I'm going to take some steps and I'm going to walk the other way. And you might need to just take a moment behind the chair because you might feel a bit dizzy. Especially if you've got a lot going on in your house, like lots of patterns or lots of different things. So if you're standing, just take a look at the side, or you could just turn to one side. So what we're working on here is your proprioception, your concentration. And we have to walk every day, don't we? We have to walk, and people will talk to you or get in your way. And if we were in a live class, I'd have you walking and stopping. So let's do that. So walk around and then stop. We're going to turn around and then walk again around your chair. Tum-ti-tum, tum-ti-tum, and stop. A little march, turn around the other way, and then start walking again. Because at some point, you know, we're walking and we don't know that somebody's going to get in our way, and you might need to stop and you might need to step backwards. How do you feel about doing that? Or you might need to walk around and then you might need to step to the side. Keep going in seated and walking. If you can, if you've got a slip slidey chair, you can go to the side, or you could just march and take your head to the side, stop, and then take your head to the other side. And what happens is sometimes you might feel a bit dizzy, and sometimes we can get over this by practicing, sometimes we can't. So sometimes if we are dizzy when we turn around, we might need to stop, make our bodies in line with our heads, and just take a second, and then you might need to just turn. That's it. And take a look to the side. If you're sitting, you can look down and you can look up. If you're standing, hold it there. Lovely, well done. So let's do some lunging, which we did last week, didn't we? So we're going to lunge to the outside of your chair, lean into that front leg.
You know, sorry, you know when you say lunging, I know we've given it a physical name, but it's actually moving.
It's a step. It's a big step. And you're putting your weight onto that front leg.
Shelley, you all right, my love, today?
Are you tired today?
I can't hear you, but you're okay. You take it easy, Tiger.
And it's okay to just watch sometimes. If you're tired and you just want to watch, you can get as much out of watching as you can performing. If you're feeling under the weather or just not wanting to or whatever. So, big step, lean into that leg, and then a big push off to come to your neutral stand here. Big step, big push off, neutral stand. So you always come back to that lovely stable base here where you could go in different ways that we've been practicing throughout the weeks. Good. That's it. Fabulous. Keep going. We've been doing this now.
I have to say, watching you, I could, like Anita, great movement. Like, you've really got good movement.
Yeah. They all have. They're
all
really
of them.
good. Cliff, yeah.
And you know,
Annie
that's
and
not
Rosemary.
just about the muscular strength, but that's trust.
Yes, yeah.
You know, the fact that their confidence has come on. They trust you, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do trust me. But honestly, you're amazing.
And
And you know, we just want all the time for you to just build up that confidence, so you don't have to worry about being out and about.
have a little rest. Are we okay? Lovely.
Thumbs
Good.
up, good girls. Lovely gentlemen, good.
Right, should we
Hunt the
do?
heels.
Yeah, we're going into toes and things, so
Okay.
they don't. Yeah.
Against the wall.
Yeah. So we're going to do some toe heel work. So I need you against a wall, just because it's safer if you can, or if you haven't got a wall, you can stay by your chair, but you might need to just use it to support you. In seated, it's lifting the toes and the heels the same. Let me think about it I'll come and show you what to do. So standing, again, posture, belly in. We're going to lift the toes and just take a lean back. But I want you to keep your body nice and straight. I don't want you to stick your bum out, okay? So it's a little gentle toe lift and come back onto the whole foot. Toe, and this is great for ankle strength. Lifting the toes, lifting the feet up. Because sometimes as we get older we shuffle because we lose that capacity, that strength to be able to lift the toes and the feet up. In seated, it's the toe lift. You could lift one first and then the other if you're seated, but in standing, and it's okay if you wobble. You've got the wall behind you, so feel free to rest against it. That's the beauty of having a wall. Now don't do too many. Remember last time I did this, I had sore shins for about a week. I did. They were really sore. Okay, then you can either have your chair. Actually, no, stay there. We'll do some walks. So onto your heels, lift the toes, and just do some walks. Ooh. And come back onto the foot. So about 4 steps. Now, I can see some of you are quite rounded in your shoulders. Okay, and then that becomes problematic because you're going to fall forward. So really think about pulling the shoulders back. And what happens sometimes is you pull your shoulders back, you stick your bum out. We don't want that. We want you to tuck your bottom under and look forwards and then lift the toes and then have a little walk and come back down. Lift the toes all the way down. Last one, toes. Lovely. Good. And then let's come into the opposite movement, and I'm going to I'll go against the wall. So I've just got the wall in front of me and I'm going to lift my heels, weight through my big toe, second toe, to keep that ankle stable. And then I'm going to just lift my heels, lower down. So I've got the wall there in case I fall forwards or I need to just support myself. Or you can have the chair. So just lifting the heels come down, lift the heels. Same in seated. So just lifting the heels, putting the weight through the balls of the feet, lift and lower, lift, and then have a little rest. Just march a little bit or wiggle the ankles round because we're going to go into a little walk, a little step. So it's like your little Elvis knee. Okay, then we're going to come into that stepping. So we're going to come onto the toes and then we're going to walk. 3, 2, 1, step down, up onto the toes, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down, toes, 4, 3, 2, 1, down, but in your own time. So toes, and you might only want to do 2, that's fine. Whatever you can do is okay. Lift, that's it, and down. Can you do 2 more? Oh, I can feel it in my calves, can you? And then we'll make sure we do a nice stretch at the end. And then down. Lovely. Do you want to have a little sit down? How are your halos getting on? Oh.
That was my bum that did that. Did you see that? You guys don't need to see that. Too much. Okay.
right, we're just swapping.
Hola! Konnichiwa. Okay, so Pat's brought me in today to talk to you about pelvic floor and bladder and bowel, all of which are really important, okay? Good. Okay. So our first exercise with regards to pelvic floor, bladder and bowel starts with a breath exercise. So first thing I want you to do is to sit with your self-supporting spine. So your spine is away from the back of the chair, okay? That bit's important because as soon as we come into that self-supporting spine, we are then using our core muscles to keep us upright. The next thing is we need to think about what's going on with our undercarriage. Now both men and women have pelvic floors, so we need to address the muscle, and with time and gravity and age, the muscles in the pelvic floor become weaker. So the first thing I want you to do now is to lean forward and rest your elbows on the bottom of your thighs or the top of your knees. Now it's important we're in this position. Okay, and from here, without thought, cough. What you should experience when you perform that is a bulge or a pressure, so you can feel your undercarriage press downwards when you cough. So for us to engage the pelvic floor, the first thing we do from here is to think about that tension of your undercarriage. It would be that place you go to when you're trying to stop yourself having a wee, so that tension, or break wind in public if you're not bothered by breaking wind in public. I want you to think about tension underneath and just gently lift, so it's a hold if you like, and then relax. So when I talk about relaxing, it is allowing the pelvic floor to settle. I want you to have some engagement here, a little bit of tightness, tension, contraction of your undercarriage. Okay, now we're going to experience another cough whilst your pelvic floor is engaged. Okay, let's take a breath and cough again. And what I'm hoping that there was a difference between the first cough and the second cough. That in the first place your undercarriage felt like there was a pressure downwards. The second time, because nobody wants to wee unless we plan in it, to feel that tension and that connection. Okay, so that is one exercise that we can do on a regular basis to engage the pelvic floor. And I set that scenario up because it's a really sensory experience, so you kind of really feel it. So as we progress in time, you don't need to do the cough. We become attached with the pelvic floor, connected with the pelvic floor, and we consciously activate and then release. Activate and release. So we're thinking about that tightening. And when I'm saying tightening, I'm talking where there's wee, what you wee through, what you poo through. So we've got to think about that tightening and then releasing. That tightening and releasing. Now some of you might be feeling it in your bum cheeks a little bit. That's okay. That is telling me that we are starting to target that area. Okay, and release, relax, sit up. Okay. With regards to pelvic floor, bladder and bowel, we're now going to perform an exercise that involves rapid contraction of the pelvic floor and slow contraction of the pelvic floor. So we set ourselves into position. If you wish, bring yourself away from the back of the chair, so we're in self-supporting spine. Leave your hands on your thighs. Okay, and as we have previously demonstrated in previous tests and challenges, we think about contracting and lifting up the pelvic floor. So where there's wind, where there's water. So we've got to think about bowel and bladder. So we think relax, not thinking about it at all. Swinging in the breeze is a description that we've used previously. And then an engagement and the tension and tightening on. Okay, and then a release, let it go. So it goes like this. On a scale of 0 to 4, that is the ground floor. That's pelvic floor low, disengaged. 4 is so tight and pulled up that you're really hanging on and trying desperately not to have a wee, but also your eyebrows are up here and so are your eyes sticking out. So that's 4. Too hard to manage all the time. What we need is some kind of middle ground. So an engagement, a lift of your pelvic floor and a lower of your pelvic floor. So we go 0, 1, 2, maybe 3, 2, 1, 0. So it's just practice. Tighten, pelvic floor lift, relax, let pelvic floor settle. I want you to repeat that as I continue to talk. So there's a lift and a lower. Keep going. This is the type of thing you can practice. There's like little triggers. So maybe something you can practice after you've been for a wee. Something you can practice maybe if you're a passenger in a car and there's traffic lights. So make that a thing that you practice the slow, contract and release of the pelvic floor. And it's all valid. This is also connected to things like back pain. And it's also connected to getting up at night to wee a lot. Okay, now relax for a second because I'm talking about wees and poos, pelvic floors, weaknesses, bowels, all the same thing. So we're relaxed. Now this time we're going to go quickly. Now the magic number is about 21 fast contractions. So it is literally squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Now stop before we go any further. Some of you don't see 21 as a number that you can't achieve. What we're looking for is a handful of contractions quickly and go as far as you can. At some point it might be too much, then we relax, okay? So 21 is a number to aspire towards. So when you're ready, and I can tell some of you are going already because I can see some of the shoulders lifting and it's a good thing. Right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can tell you doing it because as you do it, your posture just changes slightly as you're engaging your pelvic floor and lifting it up and pulling your belly into your backbone. Something worth practicing on a regular basis. You keep going. And once you've gone as far as you can, because if you're fatiguing from it, that's enough today. Once you've got to your 21, you relax. Well done. Good stuff. Okay, so we just catch your breath for a second. Or maybe unknot your face from pulling faces. You got another one. What do you want me to do? Okay. Right, so we've got to think about the bowel and the bladder are so intrinsically connected. We've got to find as many different ways to challenge that area as possible to keep that strength there, that mobility there as well. So another one that I like, which doesn't put so much pressure into the pelvic floor as such, but it does just free up an area, okay? So what I'd like you to do is go into self-supporting spine, which is to sit with your back away from the back of your chair and to sit as tall as you can. So once you're there, what happens is when you're forced to sit tall and unsupported, your core muscles engage. Okay, but what I'm looking for today, I am looking for a rounding of your back and a lengthening of your spine to the point where almost your abdominals feel like they're being really stretched. And then a sinking into your low back. Think about tension on through your pelvic floor and now rise up as tall as you can. Give it length. Shoulders are melting down your back. You're beautiful and tall, and reverse. So it's creating this C shape with your spine, shortening of your abdominals, And then lengthen in as tall as you can through the movement, feeling that stretch out of the abdominals. And once again, they're rolling down C shape. We take our time with this always. If you can get your eyes on your belly button, great. Roll up nice and tall as you can. As tall as you can. Suck it in, lift it up. Feel that tension on. C shape through the spine. Once again, roll up. Nice and tall. Well done. And then relax for a moment. You might need to rest into the back of your chair. Well done. Okay, so Pat is tasking me to do a couple of different exercises for you, because we'll break these down into chunks and then you can just maybe work on one health hack a day. So today I'm going to focus on my self-supporting spine, or today I'm going to focus on my bowel and bladder exercises. Pat, what's the next one you want to throw at me?
I wonder if you should do the hip walk.
Hip walk.
I mean, I know we've got it.
We've got hip walk a lot, but what bothers me about the hip walk is that we don't quite get the feet right. Okay. So, can we use both cameras as well for this? Okay, big camera first, right? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on bladder and bowel. Is that what we're using it for, right? So start that bit again.
No. That's core.
It's for core
Balance
work.
and stability.
What we're going to do is some core work, and this is for our balance and our stability. Now this is a foundation movement that we're going to work on now, and it is called a hip walk. Now the hip walk is designed to create that connection and strength between upper body and lower body. It also helps us should we get a bit slidey in our chairs. So a hip walk looks like this. Now, as I'm moving forward and backwards, I'm using my feet and I'm lifting my legs. I'm using all my energy in my body to bring myself to the front third of my chair. I'm lifted and lengthened through my centre. I'm consciously and actively pushing out of my feet as I propel myself forward and backwards. This movement is the type of movement we use to help us stay steady on our feet. It doesn't feel like your classic movement, but let me tell you, this is a foundation piece of work that will really help you, particularly when you're trying to get out of a chair or to simply walk upstairs. Okay, something that we'd encourage you to practice on a regular basis, but use your feet. That's the message here. Really use your feet. So 1 foot off and forward, 1 foot off the floor and forward. And this stuff, the whole body is involved in this exercise. So it becomes a whole body exercise, but really focuses on core and the conversation between upper and lower body. Well done. Stretch. Stretch of what? Hang on, she's talking to me off camera. Okay, so I don't know how we feel about this, but we're going to do an interesting stretch. Right, so let's start again. What we're going to do, we're going to have a look at how we can stretch towards the muscles that are connected to our pelvis, okay? So I'm going to do a handful and follow me in this sequence. So the first thing I want you to do is to sit in the back of your chair. To actively walk your feet wide and lean in. So your feet are wide, your knees are wide, and don't be afraid here of this movement because you do get a nice stretch. And then the next thing I want you to do from that is to drop your chest and almost lift your bottom. So your chin is lifting, your chest is going downwards, you're using the pressure of your arms to push, your elbows into your thighs, so your tail is exposed. Okay, and then we relax from that a moment. From here, your elbows are still pressing into your thighs. I want you to either press one away or both. So press one away. Now what's this got to do with pelvic floor, core work, strength, balance? Well, stretching is integral to your well-being program. We need to be stretching on a regular basis, particularly when we're doing movements like this. As you push your knee away with your arm, you get into the small of the back, enabling some movement in what we call semi-movable joints. This helps us because many of us do struggle as we get older, little niggles in the back in the sacroiliac joint. Okay, when you're ready, roll up through the back, shoulders back and down, and relax. Well done.
Calf stretch, shin stretch.
Okay. The next stretch that we're going to do with you involves stretching out the back of your leg. Sitting nice and tall, so you need to feel safe in your chair. I want you to take or slide out one leg, so you're perched on your chair. Your leg becomes straight, but you've got another leg that's bent, so you feel safe in your chair. Now the message here is toe to ceiling, only if you can, if that's comfortable. And by leaning in, you will increase the stretch through the back of the leg and into the back of the thigh. Not everyone feels this, so if you want to wiggle jiggle the foot forward, feel free. Now here's the tip, relax your kneecap. Okay. Now, watch this. I'm just going to change lovely. So what I want you to think about is also, how does it feel if I turn my toes inwards? How does it feel if I turn my toe outwards? So you might feel this conversation going right the way up into your hip. So foot forward and upwards. Toe inwards, how does that feel in the outside of the hip? How does it feel when you turn the toe out? It's a bit like a windscreen wiper. When you're ready, rise up, come back to the top of the movement. Switch legs. So we extend the leg forward. We're in the front third of your chair, and the being perched, when you're sat right back in your chair, we can't get at that stretch properly, so it is important to be at the front of your chair. Sending one leg forward, toe towards the ceiling. You're supported because the other knee is bent and you've got your hands firmly placed on that, so you feel nice and secure, okay? So the first thing we do is to lift up through the spine and just lean forward. So you might, even at this point, start to feel that stretch coming on through the back side of your body. Use your breath. If you want to wiggle jiggle your heel further forward, feel free to do that. Now breathing is always the answer. Remember to take a big breath, and as soon as we breathe, we relax. Turn your toe in. How does that feel? Relax the kneecap. That should feel connection up into the hip. And now we turn the toe out. Well done. Bracing through your center, long through your spine, feeling safe in your positioning. And again, moving from turning the toes in and then turning the toes out. And by a simple adjustment to foot placement will completely change the emphasis on the stretch. Well done. How are we doing?
Keep breathing for pelvic floor. Or
Okay.
something. Relaxation.
Okay. So as we start to wind down now, I want us to also think about our breathing and how we turn muscles off and on. And one of the areas is pelvic floor. Now, weirdly, Some of us become imbalanced in our bodies because we're spending all our time contracting the pelvic floor. And what we need to do is turn it off. And we're fearful, right? So when we go out and about, we worry about where we can wee. Is it safe? Is there a lock on the door? Am I going to slip? Is there going to be loo roll? All these questions come into play and we're holding on for dear life. Am I going to wee myself? That's the biggest worry, right? So sometimes we just need to try and work on relaxing it. And simply by having this conversation with you right now, you're starting to think about, oh, relax, relax, relax. Or you're thinking, I hope she hurries up because I really need a wee. It'll be one or the other. Okay, right. So today what I'd like you to do is to settle back into your chair, relax, and then take your feet slightly wider. I'll just change my chair so got a different angle of me. And the idea here is that we're just kind of relaxing from the abdominals. We're taking the tension away from the body. Take a long breath in. Feel the ribs expand. Exhale and just let it go. Now I notice, and I do this myself, I'm still holding on here. I feel tension in my abdominals. So I just want you to try and think about letting it go. Now, in the past and in other workshops, we talk around pelvic floor tension. We talk about pre-wee tingle. The pre-wee tingle is a thing when you kind of like got to the point where you're nice and relaxed in your pelvic floor, but if you relax anymore, you'll want to wee. So that's the point that we need to almost relax you to. So consciously, actively, just slow it down, turn it off, any tension in the undercarriage. So if you've got a bit of wind, let it go. And that's normal. That is absolutely normal. Okay, and now we take another breath in. And just feel the weight seep through the body and feel that relaxation coming down the spine, through the back, into the pelvic floor and out. Okay, feel any tension in the thighs because, again, when we hold the pelvic floor tightly, we might feel tension in toes. We might feel tension in thighs. So just consciously, with big, long, focused breaths, just let that go. And then really feel it go in your belly. And then just let it go. Well done. Well done. Okay. That's it. So according to my colleague, that was it for instructional videos today. You lot are lush. Okay, so from here, now that we've really put some focus work into our relaxation, let's really finish that off now with a nice little journey. So close your eyes, make yourself comfortable in your space around you, that you feel safe, and we are going to do a little relaxation. Being comfortable is the important thing because that enables us to get that breath in and that relaxation in. Now that we're feeling relaxed, take some big voluminous breaths in and out. Just let it go. Okay. Now today, we're on a little journey. Together, we're going to go over a rainbow. Together. So don't worry about the logistics of this, okay? You're safe and you're with me and Pat, and we're going to look after you. So we've gone over our rainbow, and I want you to firmly feel your feet placed on warm sand. You can be whatever or whoever you want to be. You can be with whoever you want to be. But we are on my lovely island. And on this island, there's warmth and happiness. We are safe and we are well. And it's the happiness we're going to tap into. So you're feeling your feet on the sand, and we're looking out to sea. And it's brilliant and blue and glossy, and the sun is so bright. And you can feel the warmth on your skin. You feel that sunshine. You feel the breeze on your lips and the salty taste from the sea. The strong, pungent smell of the tropical plants, the flowers, the brilliance of the colours and the greens, because it's so beautiful out there. And you're taking it all in. And you can hear laughter of the children. You can hear happiness, the breeze in the leaves on the trees, the joy of the island, the energy in the island. Now it's yours. This memory is yours. These thoughts are yours. And you're going to pull all of these threads of sensation into your body. The warmth, the sound, the crackling of the waves local to your toes as the waves are just rippling out onto the shoreline. Waves in the distance. The sounds around you locally. So literally how your feet sound on the sand, the breath in your body. And in the distance, you can hear stuff. People, birds. And don't analyse, just move from one sound to the next and enjoy it. Enjoy the energy of the island. In our mind's eye, we photograph our experience. We feel like our levels are topped up. We're feeling good. You can feel the smile forming on our faces. We can feel the lightness of the experience and how that makes us feel and how well we feel. I need you to close your eyes and deeply focus it all in. So we're coming back into my space now. Still safe, still connected, still with us, but way more relaxed. On your next breath out, start to create movement to your fingers and to your toes. Sitting up nice and tall and maybe stretching out your arms. You alright, Shirley? Well done. And then bring your hands together and give yourselves a round of applause because you're immense. I really enjoyed today. I enjoyed watching you this in the first part, and then I enjoyed being in front teaching you. Well done, everyone.